Coming up on today's show, the Renault 5 returns as an electric car, Kia announces it's going to use EV plus number for its new electric vehicle lineup, which, yes, means it'll make an EV1, and Sony shows how far it's come with its Vision S concept car, a car that's looking more and more production ready by the day. These stories and more coming next. Welcome back to TEN, Transportive Old News, your weekend roundup into the week's news in the world of cleaner, greener, safer and smarter vehicles. Thanks for joining me. This show is sponsored by the Electric Auto Association. Join them and help the switch from fossil fuels to electric today by heading to electricauto.org. Usually at this time of year, the entire team would be driving back from a crazy week at CES in Las Vegas. But this year, it all happened virtually, because COVID. We've done a little less coverage this year than usual, but we will be featuring some of the larger news items from the event in today's show. As for the smaller things, well, Hyperion was in virtual attendance with a new video of its hydrogen hypercar, as was the Cartivator SkyDrive VTOL personal aircraft, which says it's targeting a 2023 launch date. We also saw a robotic charging arm from Korean company Modern Tech, and of course, autonomous vehicle after autonomous vehicle. I'm not going to lie, while CES is fun, I am kind of glad we didn't have to deal with it this year. If you grew up in the 1970s or 80s in Europe, you are probably familiar with the iconic Renault 5, a car that you may know in parts of North America as the Renault Le Car. Those of you who know your EV history will know that US Electricar sold a converted Renault 5 called the Electric Leopard, but this week Renault debuted a new Renault 5, a sporty, all-electric prototype for a car that it says we can expect on the market in a few years' time. Taking its styling cues from the 80s Renault 5 GT, there's not a lot known about the car's performance or specifications yet, but given the fact this prototype is closer to its sporty ancestor than the original frugal Renault 5, well, I'm going to expect good things. Let's hope it lives up to those hot hatch expectations, eh? The Tesla Model Y has officially received its crash test ratings from the US National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, achieving 5 stars all across the board. This puts Model Y in the same 5-star rating category as Tesla's other 3 mainstream production models. And while a Model Y long range was the tested vehicle, Tesla says it, quote, expects similar results for all Model Y variants. While NHTSA doesn't make particularly detailed ratings available on its website, something that other test bodies are much better at, Tesla noted in a statement this week that the Model Y also recorded the lowest rollover risk ever recorded for an SUV at 7.9%. That is lower than the Tesla Model X at 9.3% and lower than the Audi e-tron at 9.2%. Nicely done. Three-wheel electric vehicle manufacturer Arcimoto announced this week that, following on from a year where its share price rose by more than 700%, it had successfully acquired a new production facility to facilitate higher volume series production of its 2-seat, 3-wheel Arcimoto FUV. The facility, a few blocks east of where Arcimoto's current Eugene, Oregon headquarters is located, was purchased for $10.25 million and features 155,630 square feet of factory space. According to the company CEO Mark Frohnmeyer, the purchase deal will close at the end of March. Arcimoto hopes to have series production of the FUV at the new location in full swing by the end of the year. For some time, we've been hearing about the failure of eMMC chips within the media control units of older Tesla Model S and Model X cars. Originally, Tesla had asked owners of cars which had fallen out of warranty to pay out of pocket to replace those units, which, when failed, could make it impossible to use the car's massive touchscreen. Then, more recently, it did begin replacing failed units, even on cars that had expired warranties, and fees depending on how old the car was. But this week, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration in the US officially asked Tesla to issue a recall campaign to replace and rectify the issue on the 158,000 affected cars, stating that the bricked screens could lead to a crash. It's not clear if or when Tesla will comply with this request. Kia held a press event this week during which it showcased its rebranding, including a new logo, as it shifts away from traditional internal combustion engine vehicles and focuses on lower emission EV solutions. During the event, we saw a sneak peek of a number of new vehicles that Kia wants to bring to market, ranging from what looks suspiciously like an autonomous mobility pod to what I'd guess is a self-driving shared access vehicle, as well as more conventional personal cars. Sadly, the presentation doesn't go into vehicle details. It's mainly corporate speak. But one thing that I did catch was the naming convention chosen by Kia. It wants to use the prefix EV followed by a number, with EV1 through to EV9 already planned. I'm glad to see EVs coming, but EV1? That's a special name that we shouldn't be reusing. In 2020, we saw a lot of electric car companies joining the stock market through reverse mergers with SPACs, that's special purpose acquisition companies. We're only a few weeks into 2021 and it already looks like that trend is set to continue. Proterra announced its own reverse IPO this week with Arc Light Clean Transportation. The reverse merger is in fact backed by Daimler, which has a sizable shareholding in Proterra. Not to be outdone, it now looks as if Lucid Motors is also following suit, with a proposed deal with a SPAC belonging to investor Michael Klein. There's no official word on this deal, but as you know, I am not a fan of SPACs and feel it adds extra risk for both sides of the equation. What do you think? Just over a year ago, the team behind Long Way Up completed their journey from the southern tip of South America all the way to Los Angeles. They did so, for the most part, with prototype Harley-Davidson Livewires and very early prototype Rivian R1T pickups. This week, Rivian invited some of the original crew back to get a sneak peek of the latest production intent R1T and gave the series director David Alexandrian the chance to get behind the wheel. While the short film doesn't give us a whole lot of extra information about the truck, it did show rather nicely the tweaks and changes that were made as a consequence of that long-distance road trip, but also some of the refinements that will be in the production vehicle. Given the R1Ts did have some issues during Long Way Up, I'm glad that Rivian made this video to show how ready the vehicle is for market. General Motors has been pushing hard for the past year or so on its plans to transform itself into a leader in the electric and the autonomous vehicle marketplace, and at CES it really pushed the boat out, holding its virtual exhibit Zero. In addition to several distinct vehicle teasers, GM CEO Mary Barra gave a keynote in which she reiterated the company's drive to become zero emission, with new electric models due to debut this year across all of GM's brands. This not only includes vehicles we already know about, like the upcoming Cadillac Lyriq, Hummer EV and Chevrolet Bolt EUV, but a couple of surprises too, including a delivery truck and a Cadillac-branded electric VTOL Craft. Powered by a 90-kilowatt electric motor, it is essentially a fully autonomous air taxi for one. No, I don't think it will enter into production at any time soon, but hey, given that other automakers were also announcing VTOL Craft at CES, including a tie-in between startup Archer and Fiat Chrysler, I guess that's what Big Auto is thinking about. But guys, can we please get some more electric cars first? Please? And now, it's time for Short Shorts. Tesla has posted a job listing this week for a specialist in quality control who will use their experience to help Tesla develop a computer vision autonomous quality control inspection system exclusively for Tesla's Fremont plant. Audi confirmed this week that during 2020 it sold a total of 50,000 Audi e-tron SUVs. That's a massive increase on the previous year's sales figures. While that may sound small compared to Tesla's near 500,000 vehicles, remember all EVs help push the world to dump the pump. In a similar fashion, Volkswagen announced its sales of electric vehicles jumped by over 200% in 2020. Its most popular car was the ID.3, with 56,500 examples made. The Volkswagen e-Golf and Volkswagen e-Up combined accounted for an additional 63,000 cars. Lordstown Motors announced this week that it's got the 100,000 pre-order milestone reached for its new endurance pickup truck. At the same time, it confirmed that it was in the process of applying for the US federal government's Advanced Technology Vehicle Manufacturing Loan Program. As part of its massive Exhibit Zero, General Motors revealed its new vehicle product line, an all-electric delivery ecosystem called BrightDrop. It's due to launch this year. 2 vehicles were showcased, an all-electric pallet called the EP1 and the EV600 delivery truck. FedEx is already signed up to be its first customer. Tesla has quietly revealed its own in-house solar inverter system for photovoltaic solar panels. Built on Powerwall 2 technology, it will integrate with Tesla's Powerwall and solar installations and be offered in 3.8 and 7.6 kilowatt variants. NIO officially unveiled its production ET7 electric sedan this week. With battery pack choices of up to 150 kilowatt-hours, autonomous capabilities, and a sub-4-second sprint time, the ET7 will be NIO's flagship model when it goes on sale. Tesla is expanding Giga Shanghai yet again, this time not just to expand its existing vehicle production facilities, but to get ready for a future $25,000 equivalent electric car, designed in China and something that many fans are calling the Tesla Model 2. Watch this space. A massive online auction will take place next week to dispose of large amounts of office furniture, computer monitors, and laptops that once belonged to the North American arm of BYTON. While it's not clear if BYTON is ending US operations completely, I'd not be surprised. Sondors unveiled a new electric motorcycle called the Metacycle this week. It claims an 80-mile range and an 80 miles per hour top speed, all from a 4 kilowatt-hour battery. Lots of you have reached out to ask me about this, but I'm sorry, I just can't get the physics to work on those particular claims. A Tesla store in Berlin, Germany was vandalized this week, with the windows of the store smashed and the cars inside wrecked. It's not clear why or when the attack took place, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't connected to opposition to Tesla's Giga Berlin. The NTSB has warned emergency responders in North America that they need to be better prepared for electric vehicle firefighting. Right now, there's no nationwide standard or training for the same, so it's down to individual fire departments to train appropriately. Unfortunately, they sometimes get it very wrong. Citroen has released a new version of its e-Berlingo electric van with a 50 kilowatt-hour battery offering up to 171 miles or 275 kilometers on the WLTP test cycle. It also has 100 kilowatt CCS quick charging. As part of a major rebranding effort to focus on electric vehicles, Renault has unveiled a new concept vehicle called the EZ1. It's a little, fully enclosed version of the Renault Twizy and looks towards a future where fleets of EZ1 offer ad hoc mobility services under a new Renault brand. Chinese automaker XPeng has revealed a new $2 billion equivalent line of credit to help it expand its business. This line of credit comes from 3 different Chinese banks, all of which are behind its efforts to become a global electric vehicle leader. Sono Motors revealed its latest prototype for the Sono Sion solar car at CES 2021. With solar panels embedded into the bodywork in place of paint, the new prototype looks a lot more production-ready than its predecessors, but it still lacks the fit and finish of a series production car. As part of GM's massive CES event this week, Cadillac teased the next of its promised electric vehicles in the form of the Celestiq EV. It is said to feature 4-wheel steering, all-wheel drive, and a fully smart glass roof, which can change its transparency for each occupant. Toyota has officially been fined $180 million by the US Department of Justice for a 10-year non-compliance with the Clean Air Act. Toyota stands convicted of violating EPA clean air regulations when it came to fleet emissions reporting. Chevrolet released another teaser for its upcoming Bolt EUV this week. This time, we got to see the steering wheel, complete with Super Cruise lights on top. If I sound fed up with Chevy over this, I am. show us the car, or make us wait until the reveal. Disgraced US President Trump may be on his way out of the White House next week, but that hasn't stopped his government from delaying the implementation of fines for automakers violating fuel economy targets. Roll on next week. And those are your short shorts. There will be more next time. At CES last year, we were all surprised when Sony unveiled a fully functional prototype electric car called the Sony Vision S. At the time, Sony had said it had built the car in order to highlight some of the integrated technologies it had developed for the auto industry, and it said it had no plans to bring the car into production. But as last year progressed, we started to see a change in that attitude. This week, it pretty much confirmed what we already knew, that Sony is now seriously considering bringing the Vision S to production as a luxury electric car. Sharing videos of how the car is progressing through testing, we see a prototype Sony Vision S wearing Austrian license plates and, frankly, looking far better on the road than some production intent cars I've seen in recent years. I would love to see this one come to reality. What do you think? And finally, Tesla has, for many years, battered away rumours of refreshers for both the Model S and Model X, with the classic design of both vehicles not really changing much during their lifetime. Sure, the battery packs, drivetrain and autopilot hardware have changed, and there've been a few nips and tucks, but other than that, they're pretty much the same as they were. This Friday, though, we learned that Tesla has sent a memo to its staff telling them that it has a goal of selling out of its entire inventory of Tesla Model S and Tesla Model X by the end of January. Given that its Fremont production line for both vehicles is currently closed, again, rumours abound of retrofits for refreshed versions of both cars, that shouldn't be too tough to do. But it also intensifies the likelihood that the Model X and Model S are about to get some of the things that Model 3 and Model Y have, like a landscape touchscreen display. This is, of course, technically still a rumour, but if you're in the market for a Model S or a Model X, maybe now's a good time to buy. And on that note, we are done for the day. But before I go, I would like to thank the Electric Auto Association for sponsoring today's Roundup. They've been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967, and they firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. You can find out how to join, how to become a local EV educator, find local monthly meetup groups to attend, virtually, of course, at the moment, or find EV owners near to you that you can ask questions about making your own switch from petrol to electric with by going to electricauto.org. I would love it if you'd comment and subscribe to this channel, as well as consider supporting us using one of the links below. There's also a link below to our Discord chat room, which is free to join and great fun, so please consider it if you'd like to, and don't forget to check out our Redbubble TE merch store. Before I go, I would like to apologise for not getting that Aptera special out when I'd planned this week. It is on the way, but we had some audio issues to address. Basically, a microphone was bad on Aptera's end. And with my biopsy midweek, I've not been working full-time. Talking of the biopsy though, good news, it's not cancer, and I feel a lot better knowing that, so thanks to everyone who sent me well wishes. You all rock. I'll be back next week, but until then, enjoy the long weekend if you're having MLK off in the US, stay safe, and as always, keep evolving!